Thank you. Greetings, everybody. Hello and welcome. Welcome to Accotink Unitarian Universalist Church online this morning. I'm Judy Robison. My pronouns are she and her, and I am your worship associate today. As we begin our service, if you're joining us online, I invite you to silence your phone or other devices if they're around. As we center ourselves for worship, we won't ring a bowl this morning, but I do invite you to take a deep breath to be ready for our service. We open and welcome to the ancestral people of this land, acknowledging that our church, like Olive Burke, rests on the unceded territory of the Manahoac tribe of the Great Sioux Nation. We seek healing and the realization of justice with the people of this land, who live on in their descendants, the present-day members of the Monacan Indian Nation, the Patawomic Indian Tribe of Virginia, and the Piscataway Indian Nation. We honor the ancestors as we move toward healing so that all together shall one day know full justice. Welcome to today's service. Our minister, Rev. William Levewood, is here most Sundays, but today I'm happy to welcome Dr. Ricardo O. Sanchez. In addition to being a member of the Bull Run Unitarian Universalists, Dr. Sanchez is a clinical mental health counselor, cross-cultural consultant, author, and adjunct professor at George Mason University, specializing in immigrant and integration, workplace inclusion, and trauma-informed leadership. As a former undocumented immigrant, he brings lived experiences and professional insight to help organizations bridge cultural divides and foster belonging. Dr. Sanchez collaborates with businesses, universities, and nonprofit organizations to cultivate culturally responsive and emotionally supportive environments for immigrant and multicultural teams. He is the founder of Border Talk Series, an initiative that facilitates transformative dialogue aimed at humanizing the immigrant experience, shifting dominant narratives, and promoting systemic change. He's with us today with his wife, Kathy, who will be doing our Time for All Ages. If you aren't new to Accotink, look around at the folks on line this morning. Do you see people you haven't met yet? These people would like to meet you. Help us live up to our mission to be a welcoming and inclusive spiritual home for all by reaching out and making a new connection. By visiting this congregation, whether it's in person or online, newcomers are in transition moment, and people in transitions are open to new friendships. This means that your best friend might be online this morning too. Whether you're a longtime member or a newcomer or something in between, we encourage you to stay for our discussion immediately after this service. We're so delighted that you're with us today, even if it's online with the snow. Stay safe and warm, and welcome. We have some good news. Every Sunday, as part of our Defending Our Democracy campaign, we share some good news. And one of them is that Congress is reversing the administration's steep budget cuts to science. Some budgets may even increase slightly. For the fifth year in a row, U.S. teen drug and alcohol abuse rates declined, hitting a historic low. 2 weekends ago, a broad coalition of groups across the country held a coordinated Ice Out for Good weekend of action to demand accountability, honor the lives lost to ICE, and make visible the human cost of ICE's action.
We light this chalice here today, to walk with love along the way, for every heart that dares to dream, to love, belong, and find a home. May this flame remind us to care for those who journey anywhere, and let us guide us hand in hand to build a just and welcoming land.
Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, come.
Hello, I'm going to be reading a story for all ages, from ages 8 to 88. And it's called Mama, What's an Immigrant? It's by Nico Paradis and illustrated by Naya Kirichenko. And here it goes. Mama, what's an immigrant? An immigrant is a person who travels far and wide, leaving their home and all they know behind. They leave to look for a better life, safe. Some immigrants are excited. Some are scared. Some leave suddenly, no time to prepare. Many immigrants leave with their whole family in tow, but there are others who must journey all alone. Immigrants travel by plane, train, and foot. They journey through all weather, rain, snow, and soot. Some leave when they're adults. Some are still very small. For immigrants, you see, there's no one size fits all. Mama, are we immigrants? Because we live on native land, an immigrant is what you are and I am. Our ancestors came from far and wide, leaving their home and all they knew behind. They came to look for a better life, safety, freedom, human rights. This world is here for all us to share, which is why, my darling, we must all care. We must accept new friends with open arms, offering them this country's safety, assistance, and charms. And in return, I'm willing to bet what they give us will be better yet. New foods to try and songs to sing, culture and diversity. It's time to build bridges instead of walls. This earth is for everyone, after all. Kindness, compassion, and love, my dear, are far more powerful than hate and fear. So let us celebrate our new neighbors and friends, and to them we will say hello and welcome, immigrants. And that's the end.
As a man walking the immigrant path, I have learned that to start a healing, to start the path towards healing, things don't start with policy. It starts with how we treat each other in our neighborhoods, how we feel each other, how we support each other. So from that place, I would like to read an excerpt from my book. For those who have the book, it's on page 133. It's about the fear that I experience about simple things, like, for example, just going to renew a work permit, or to continue my paperwork at the immigration office, or going to court just to continue your paperwork. A real fear that back then I had, and many people today experience. So that time I was just going to do my paperwork at immigration offices. During the metro ride, my PTSD symptoms started kicking in. My palms were sweating. The flashbacks of the Border Patrol helicopter came to mind. I tried to show my way too fast heartbeat, to slow down my way too fast heartbeat. But it was too hard because I was hyper alert, in flight or fight mode. In the waiting room, dozens of Central Americans were sitting on hard gray chairs, waiting for their names to be called. Some paced back and forth, trying to calm their anxiety with constant movement. The quiet, tense energy in the waiting room reminded me of the U.S. Embassy in Lima after my failed attempt to get a tourist visa. When I saw people praying, trying to connect with a higher self, with a higher being, asking for blessings or asking for a good results on their paperwork, my prayers were repeatedly interrupted by crazy thoughts of ICE agents storming the building, rounding us up, and deporting us all at once. This morning, I really wanted to start by saying, Buenos dias, good morning, everyone, but it was a little bit hard. It was a little bit hard because of what's happening, the news that we saw yesterday about another life that was taken. So our communities are hurt. Our communities are mourning many losses. And before I start, I wanted to ask to take 1 minute in honor of these people, neighbors who lost their lives in their journey about caring their human fellow men and women. So I'm going to read the names of the people who have lost their lives in custody of ICE, starting with Renee Nicole Good, Alex Jeffrey Preddy, Geraldo Luna Campos, Víctor Manuel Díaz, and Paradi La. Thank you. I wanted to start also by saying thank you for allowing me to be in this sacred space, your sacred space, and for sharing my story, but at the same time, the story that we all share together. I'm Ricardo Sanchez, and together with my wife, Kathy, we are proud UUs since the year 2000. And I came to the States when I was 18 years old as an undocumented, unaccompanied minor, fleeing Peru. At that time, Peru was going through an economic depression, and there was lots of political and social chaos there during the 1980s. And my immigrant path started at that time. So why do people cross borders, oceans, leave behind their families, their loved ones, culture? This is a fair question that many Americans are asking themselves today. And I'm not asking for an answer just so that we focus on the immigrants, but this is also a question for all of us. I would like us to not answer with the mind, but with our heart, by going and connecting or reconnecting with the immigrants in our lineage, our ancestors who came 50, 100, or 300 years ago. For a moment, close your eyes and try to be in the shoes of that great-great-great-great-grandpa or grandma that came to either Ellis Island or Angels Island and saw America for the first time. Just be in that moment. Just feel the breeze, blowing in your hair and seeing America for the first time. Perhaps it was an overwhelming feeling, maybe amazed of all the possibilities, or maybe glad that he or she was in a safer place, happy to be there, perhaps with no money in their pockets, but happy and joyful that I can do it here. I can work as hard as I can and just make it here. And out of love, perhaps bring my loved ones that I left behind, with the hope that one day we will reunite. So you see, love and humanity is in our DNA. We are all connected to that spirit of the immigrant, because immigration is filled with love. We sacrifice so much because we love our families. We care for them, and we want to do good. That's what unites us. Then and today, immigrants, myself, I left my country. I left everything that I had in there. I left my family, my younger siblings, because of love. And because by doing that, we also improve our communities wherever we are. So this is something that is in us. Migration is a human thing. We do this because survival. We do this because sometimes in our places of origin, there are wars, there are persecution, there is poverty, or in old times there was religious persecutions. So we just don't leave our places just because it's fun or we just want to do it. It has to, there is usually something hard, difficult that happens, and we take that journey. And many times we do try to get a visa, but as we know, there are so many blockages in the system that a lot of people don't get the luxury to have a visa. But still, we need to move forward and protect our families. So this is an invitation to connect with our own immigrant spirit, whether it was recent or from 300 years ago. By connecting with that, we are connecting with that really good love and the humanity that unites us, because we are immigrants at heart. Oscar Handlin wrote, "Once I thought to write the history of immigrants in America. Then I discovered that immigrants were American history." So it is within us. And how do we do that? Well, one way is just by reaching out, by connecting with people, by taking out that mask that sometimes we wear. Sometimes I also learned to wear a mask because of everything that happens around. But by taking this mask, we show ourselves, we become a little bit vulnerable, but that's good because that creates good connections. In my book, I have a section that I call "Can Gringos Be Angels?" And I wrote that because I also came with my own stereotypes. I was afraid of people. And but I learned so much by just meeting good people who were in touch with their humanity. Along the way, my first year, I met John, a middle-aged American who was my advocate in many ways. He knew that I wanted to continue building a good life here. I was working in many places, but I also mentioned that I wanted to study, that someday I wanted to have a college degree. So he helped me go to different places. He translated for me things. So we applied at 4 different colleges in the DC area. And unfortunately, all of them say, "No, I'm sorry, Ricardo. With no documentation, you cannot study." And I was kind of sad, and he was also sad, my friend, John. But there was one more thing that he said we can try. How about we just go and talk to the head of the International Student Services at American University? Maybe through that side door, we can probably, find something. And we knew it was going to be a kind of a difficult option because even there, they will ask me for a student visa. Plus, it would be, the payment would be like out of state, so more expensive. But still, we say, let's go do it. Let's have and see what happens. So the day that I went to the office to meet this man, I said, "Good morning, sir." And he said, "Good morning, Ricardo, please come in." In that moment, when I walked in to the office, I looked around his office, and it didn't look like a regular academic office. Only the wooden table or desk, the IBM computer on the side, and the cabinet were the only items that kind of looked like a academic office. Because of the rest of the items in that room was totally different. It was like from another place. I saw 2 beautiful dream catchers hanging from the ceiling. There was a eagle carved in wood. There was a ceremonial pipe on the other side, textiles and masks everywhere. It was really a beautiful office. I was amazed, and something happened there because I felt like this is part of me. And I introduced myself this way because I was really moved. I felt like the mask that I learned to wear was off. And I say, I am Ricardo Sanchez. I'm a native South American of Inca descent. Something that I usually don't say when I introduce myself. And the director looked at me and said, I'm going to read this part because this is something that was really moving to me. He said, I'm Joe Raincrow Neal. As a chief of the Yuyugani River Band of the Shawnee Indians, I welcome you, Brother Ricardo, to this ancient land we call Turtle Island, North America. The eagle from the north welcomes the condor from the south. I felt a sudden chill, and I found myself on the verge of tears. My fear of being rejected completely vanished, and my heart was filled with gratitude, with a great sense of validation, acknowledgement, genuine greeting from him. It was a gift from a human to human. So I was moved, and I really wanted to reciprocate that. And all I did at that moment was to pull my instrument, my quena. I always carry my quena, this Peruvian flute, and I played something from the heart to him. At that moment, I just was overwhelmed in that situation. I didn't pay attention to the sound. Maybe it was going to be too loud, or other offices were going to be, I don't know. At that moment, I just wanted to express my gratitude towards the chief. And I play. That day, John didn't talk too much. He was just looking at the whole situation, seeing the fruits of his advocacy unfold. What we thought that it was going to be a business-like gathering or even a back and forth situation, it turned out to be a beautiful homecoming ceremony, something that changed my life. You see, for an immigrant, feeling at home, being welcomed, has no price. Whenever you have a chance to do that for someone, for a neighbor, a new neighbor, it doesn't have to be an immigrant who comes from far away, just someone who is new in your neighborhood. Say a few words that will make him make them feel at home. So after we talked a little bit about the details, the chief said to me, Ricardo, education has no borders. All I ask from you is to be a good student, a diligent student. He stood up, shook hands, and he said, welcome to American University. So by showing our humanity, our love, it's key to unite our nation, to heal from the pain that we are going through. So before I end my presentation today, I wanted to read something that I have on page 198 of the book. And I call this the 10 Commandments for Humanity. And it goes like this. Number 1, welcome an immigrant as you wish to be welcomed. Number 2, be patient and compassionate with those new in your community. Everyone needs time to adjust. 3, recognize and honor their journey and struggles. They left behind everything familiar to join your community. 4, get to know your neighbors personally, not through stereotypes. 5, make strangers feel at home by extending kindness. 6, show love and respect to all. We're all members of the human family. Number 7, value each person's identity, virtues, and aspirations, regardless of their background. 8, practice true inclusion and unity to bridge divides. 9, be a guiding light to those in need. Human life has inherent worth. And 10, stay true to your highest principles and uphold the core values that define our nation. Thank you very much.
So now, as we extinguish our chalice, I invite you to join me now in our community blessing with these words from David Bumbaugh. This church is dedicated to the proposition that behind all our differences and beneath all our diversity, there is a unity that makes us one and binds us forever together, in spite of time, death, and the space between the stars. We pause now in silent witness to that unity. Now that we've gathered together in this welcoming and inclusive spiritual home, let us go out into the world, inspired to share our values. We'll start our discussion with Dr. Sanchez in just a few moments.